Okay, I got a semi-private beach, so I'm going to kind of rock this a little bit and kind of give you an update on Jonathan's Travelogue here. Some of the things I'm learning. Okay, just today, this is kind of funny. If you can see this right here, right there behind my left shoulder is it's where I do some kind of ocean yoga. See that? I do that at night, and it's just doing yoga in the sand with the surf. It's amazing. Remember I love me some sativa and I love me some Jesus. So a lot of times those three are the same. And so here I'm sitting there doing my ocean yoga, and this guy on the bridge, he starts kind of a Coast Guard guy. You can hear him back there. He's like, get in the water. Hear that? Yeah, anyway. I don't know if you can hear that. So I'm sitting here doing my yoga, my ocean, sativa, Jesus, and and I'm having my little spiritual moment, and that voice comes up, and I'm like, is Jesus talking to me? Jesus talking to me? He's talking, audibly, and I'm like, okay, so that was, I guess, the life of a hippie. A couple things that I wanted to, sometimes just doing these from my truck, they're not as beautiful. I feel I have more privacy there. There's people walking by, but I also want to keep these authentic and talk about La Jolla, and also kind of talk about some of the things that, like just today, kind of giving my update on today. I read this morning in Genesis 22 that Isaac means laughter. Go read the story of Abraham and Sarah. And what happened? Sarah laughed whenever the promise was given. She laughed, and so Isaac, his name means laughter. And then later I read about, and this kind of made me think about sort of my old ACU days, where I think it was Rebecca was, Abraham was going for, trying to get a wife for Isaac, and his contingency was that he wanted Isaac to have a loving, kind wife, And here I'm 40, I'm divorced, and I was thinking, man, the one thing about dating, when I was at Abilene Christian University, I never thought about the issues of the heart, or the character of the heart. I could look at, was she attractive? Was she pretty? And attraction is, gets you so far. But, when you start really looking at the Bible from a 40-year-old's perspective, you see, man, there's so much more than just attractiveness. There's issues of the heart. And I thought, what if I would have had a dad, or would have had some teaching that would have taught me about, John, when you go to Abilene Christian, or when you go to any Christian school, ask yourself the question, is she a loving, kind woman? Don't ask any other question. Is she loving and kind? Don't even ask if she's a Christian, because a lot of times Christians are the least loving and least kind. And I was thinking, dude, that just the advice of the advice and the wisdom of the Bible, it's so overlooked because it's so, I guess, judged by regular people. But I'm thinking, and then later on, when David was going to choose a wife, the way that David chose a wife is really the model that a lot of people need to choose wives. Again, what was on trial was her loving, kind heart, and how just go read those stories. And I was thinking, how I would love to go back to Abilene Christian and just kind of talk at one of their welcome weeks, and thought, man, that'd be such an interesting opportunity to say, let's go read this story of, So here I am talking in the welcome week, just to give you an idea of something that I would like to do is come speak to welcome week people and say, guys, if you're going to choose a wife, you need to look at the issues of the heart and ask yourself, does she love me well? And do you feel loved? In fact, that's kind of, that's been on my heart lately. That one question is, were you loved well? And, those are some kind of sacred words to me. Were you loved well? Were you loved well? I don't know where I'm going to go with this video, if it's going to go more comedic, more commercial, I don't know. Maybe both, hopefully both. I found the Comedy Store here in San Diego, so that, I might try to do some open mics there. Or I may go back to LA, I'm not sure. So I wanted to just kind of keep these original and kind of keep them up to date. But that's kind of, how I spent my morning. I got into Genesis 22 and I read the importance of choosing a wife relative to her loving kind as a priority one, loving kindness as a priority one. And how if somebody would have asked me, John, my name's Jonathan, people always call me John back at ACU. I guess it was just more efficient, or maybe I just didn't have the heart to say, hey, my real identity is Jonathan. So it's kind of on both sides. Sometimes, and here's another thing I wish I would have learned, is, you know, you get what you tolerate, and you have what you allow. And, you know, those are just such sacred words to me of like, anyway, the things you can learn at 40, you know, there's a thing, one of my favorite lines in the movie, It's a Wonderful Life, is when, the Jimmy Stewart character, Jimmy Stewart here, whenever he was courting his wife, how he, there's a line there where the old man's like, you know, youth is wasted on the young. And I'm like, dude, I guess that's what happens. You officially become 40 when you want to start giving everybody advice on how to do it, because mostly you failed at it. And so, man, it's one of the reasons why I want to do this Johnny Travelogue, is I want to share the things that are important to me, sacred to me, and also to kind of pass along some of the things I've learned and that I'm learning. So here I am from La Jolla, California, on this beautiful beach with all these people walking by going, what is he doing? I'm like, well, I'm doing a Johnny Travelogue. Don't you know it? Don't you follow it? Aren't you one of my 5 followers? Anyway, I'm going to get off this. Also, I'm going to talk about some business things in another video, kind of talk about another business that I'm going to start. I think I'm going to start a staffing company. That's one thing that has just kind of keeps coming back to me. Maybe a staffing company. So I know it's random, but again, I want to keep these videos authentic. And so one part of my life is my love of comedy. Another part of my life is my love of the spiritual path and nature, and then also commercial, you know, starting businesses. And, you know, one of the highlights I had at teaching at UCLA is I taught a little business class, and I was able to pass along 10 years of entrepreneurship to some students, and how much I love teaching. So yeah, I'll do a lot of teaching too. So anyway, I'm going to jump off here. Jonathan, I'm trying to think of, maybe I should have like a cool last name, like Jonathan Holla or Johnny Holla. I don't know, you tell me. But anyway, this is Johnny Travelogue. You guys have a great day. If you're ever in La Jolla, you got to come to this beach. It is just stunning. And email me, americano417@gmail.com. In fact, if you're looking for a tour guide, maybe you're kind of looking for like a spiritual, maybe you're like an executive or, you know, mid-level person, and some of the stuff about chasing the dollars kind of resonate with you, and how, man, you have to really, I don't know, maybe I'll do men's retreats, and maybe I'll do kind of a real life Wild at Heart, or maybe a real life John Edwards, or what's his name, Eldridge, excuse me. You know, his book Wild at Heart. You know, he's speaking to the heart of men, and you know, I have a heart to speak to men. That's one reason why I'm a #MRA. I want to share that story too. And you know, just the more and more I think about my own MRA experience, I think about, man, there's, you know, it's one thing to be, you know, wild at heart, but man, when we start really stepping up and defending men in the church, but also in legal cases and civil cases, and you're like, what the fuck is an MRA? Well, just let me ask you a question. You know, does your church, I don't care if you're a big ass church like, Joel Osteen, or you're a small church, does your church provide support to, you know, like a legal counsel to people? I mean, do you? I mean, do you guys have a fund? You know, what if it's just $1,500 for your local church to have a fund? So anybody in that pastorate or anybody in that church, if anybody needs legal counsel, you got it covered. You know, $1,500 could, you know, hell, $3,000. You know, so I mean, just compare $3,000 to what you pay for, I don't know, envelopes, or whatever your envelope budget is. You know, put that into legal help for your pastorate. Because let me tell you something. You know, when men are hurt in civil cases, you know, for me, I can tell you my MRI story later, but when men are hurt in civil cases, that could, you know, break a man's heart. And that's a lot of where these videos came out of, is just my own story of how the MRA event really was a catalyst for a lot of things. And that's what I want to share on this video. I'm going to jump off here. You guys have a great day. Enough of my ramblings from La Jolla Beach. People are like, dude, he's such a narcissistic person. All right, you guys have a great day. Email me, americano417@gmail.com. americano417@gmail.com. Isn't that beautiful?